The Goat House is back with score predictions and picks against the spread for every single wild card round playoff game. We'll be here every week with this video along with other playoff videos, and offseason videos are rolling out now as well. Let's take a look at my predictions. The first wild card matchup, Chargers at Texans, and I have Houston in this one, 20-17, more of a defensive game, and apparently it's a bold pick because it feels like everyone's going with the Chargers. They're favored. And LA, they could very well win this football game. I like their balance. They have an elite quarterback in Justin Herbert. They're better on offense with J.K. Dobbins back. Yeah, their defense looks very solid. Harbaugh, very smart, legendary coach. I'm confident with the Texans in this one. It kind of gives me flashbacks to last year. The Browns are favored. Everyone's picking the Browns. I was super confident in the Texans. I was more confident in that one than this year's one here, but feeling the Texans for several reasons. The defense, I love this defense. Got playmakers everywhere. D'Amico Ryans is a very good defensive coach, proven game planner in the playoffs, and that will be a key factor in this one. Again, he has playmakers in secondary. They're missing Azeez Al-Shaair for a little bit. He's obviously in there. A star pass rush duo with Anderson and Hunter could get after Herbert. I think that defense can be a big-time factor. This is a playoff and some defense. Offensively, yeah, that's kind of the worry. The pass protection, CJ Stroud hasn't been good recently. I think they'll do enough. I think they're going to ride on Joe Mixon. I think Joe Mixon has a very solid outing in this one. He is a key to victory here. The Chargers defense has been solid. The run defense has been much better than expected. I still think Mixon can be a factor. I think you can run on the Chargers run defense there, but the Chargers pass rush could be a reason they win. Team's been getting after, pass rush has been getting after CJ Stroud, and he's been playing off. It feels like every throw is kind of going over the middle of the field. He's going to have to make more throws along the sideline. The Chargers are going to game plan for that. So they're favored for a reason. I like Houston at home with that defense led by D'Amico Ryans, and I like Joe Mixon. So it's worth throwing a few bucks on Houston money line because they are underdogs, and there's a pretty good reason a couple reasons they could win that game. Make sure to check out our wild card pick show. It was a lot of fun, and one of our guys actually made a bold pick on this game. But I'm going to go with the Ravens, 24-17. Maybe a little closer than expected. Could even be closer than this. Why? Because the trends say the Steelers beat Lamar Jackson. They didn't beat him the last time, but typically Mike Tomlin has success. Mike Tomlin has the experience. They know how to game plan. They have a very solid defense. The offense looks solid at times this year. They're just super cold right now while the Ravens are hot. The Ravens are at home, tough, hostile environment. It's a different Ravens team with Derrick Henry in there. So I'll take Baltimore here. The defense is playing a lot better lately. Lamar Jackson's on fire. I'll take the Ravens, but man, you hate to play a team 3 times. You hate to play a team you struggle with or it's close with at times. It's tough. This game could be a little sneaky. Steelers are cold at the wrong time. They don't really win in the playoffs lately. And the main thing, I don't know if they have enough juice on offense. I don't think so. Maybe the defense has a good game plan. They typically do, and they can slow down that offense. I was thinking 23-17, 24-17, right around that range. In the 9.5, seeing it bounce around 9.5, 10. I think it's a little much. Steelers could be a little sneaky, but the Ravens are the better team. They're home, and they're more tested in the play, with winning in the playoffs, I should say. So you can use the Ravens money line in a parlay. We'll have more prop picks, touchdown picks on our Twitter. We'll do the locks video as well. But I wouldn't bet the spread in this game because I'm leaning towards that being too much points. So give me Steelers plus 9.5. But there's a scenario where, because they're not playing good football right now, there's a scenario where the Ravens just shellac them, So we'll take the Ravens money line in a parlay as a good option for this game. Broncos at Bills. I'm confident, much like you out there, with the Bills winning this game. I have 27-16, but this could be a little tricky because the Bills, very good team. They know they are capable of making, a deep run, but they might be looking to save some looks, save some things, keep it away from the tape so teams don't game plan properly for them in the future rounds here. And even Josh Allen said after a game, the first time they played the Patriots, it was a little difficult. They were trying to save some stuff because there's, they have important games coming up in the future. So could they try to do that in this game because they're heavy favorites? They're the better team. If they just go out and play ball no matter what they do, they could win this game. So that could actually make it a little interesting. But I still like the Bills here to take care of business. What I do like is the Broncos are pretty balanced. They play on both sides of the ball pretty well. The Bills' defense is still a little bit of a question, so can the Broncos move the ball on them? I think the Bills get pressure. They can put them in uncomfortable, obvious passing situations. Inexperienced rookie quarterback. it could be a tough challenge for Bo Nix, even though he can play decent in this game. The Broncos' key is coming out and just pounding the football, run the ball, march down the field, control run the clock, give limited chances to Josh Allen. So they could try to do that. Maybe they're successful, but I like the Bills better in this one. I don't love that the Broncos defense is kind of taking steps down as the year went on, even though it was great for a little bit there. So which Broncos defense is going to show up? You can adjust the line. Bills -5.5. Use that in a parlay. It looks pretty good. 27-16 Buffalo is what I have. I think they'll have success on the ground through the air in this one. Packers, Eagles. I'm going to apologize to anyone who's been watching my other videos because I cannot make up my damn mind with this game. I think it's the toughest game to pick this week, and that's a little bold. I could be wrong on that, but I'm going to lock it in. I'm going to lock in my pick. I'm going to go with my gut. Deep in my gut says the Green Bay Packers, even though I know damn well the Eagles should win this game. They're healthier, as long as Hurts is okay. They're balanced. They're damn good. They can win the Super Bowl, of course. They're home in Philly, hostile environment. They should win this game. They can win with Saquon alone. They can win with defense alone. They can win in multiple different ways, okay? But my gut pick says Packers, and it kind of goes back to before the year started. I predicted the Packers to win the Super Bowl, and I'm not necessarily saying they're my prediction right to win the Super Bowl right now. I think they could be sneaky. I did say in the video the other day, I said it a couple times, the winner of this game, I think, goes to the Super Bowl. So if the Eagles get by the Packers get by the Eagles, maybe that's a little bold because you do have to get by the Lions, which is very difficult. So I think this is a serious matchup here. But I said before the year, Packers are going to win the Super Bowl, and part of that prediction was they're going to be a good team during the regular season. They're going to be even better, way better in the playoffs. They're going to be much better in the playoffs and much more of a threat. Matt LaFleur is a great game planner in the playoffs. They have the pieces on both sides of the ball. They all get elevated once they get to this time of the year. They can play in the cold. So looking at all those factors, basically what I said, it's still definitely in play. Like they're supposed to the playoffs didn't even start yet. So it's hard for me to go against my gut here. What's not part of the plan is one, Christian Watson being out, but more importantly, Jaya Alexander being out. That is brutal. So that almost makes you want to go Eagles in this one. But where's Hurts? Like Hurts has been out, not doing anything for a few weeks now. Or is he going to be rusty? I know Barkley can run all over them alone, and beat them alone. But if the Packers get a lead early in this game, could they take away more run plays from the Eagles? Hurts in the passing game has struggled a little bit more against zone coverage, and that kind of, we talk about the Packers, LaFleur always saves stuff for the playoffs and always better. Look at last year in the playoffs. Defense, they ran a lot of zone this year, but we expect them to be more of a man team, so it kind of leaves, again, a little bit more of a mystery here for them. The defense, playing a little bit better. They got a lot of, flashy young talent out there, so I'm going to go at Green Bay. If Hurts is good to go and just lights it up in the passing game, they're going to win that game, but it's my gut there. And I'd say 4.5 is a little too much. It's a weird line where kind of Vegas knows, the Packers could be a little sneaky here. So and they're getting some guys back, even though we talk about the guys that are injured. They're getting some guys back here. But this should be a really good game. Again, bold prediction here. We'll go 26-24. I think the Packers will come out with offense, right away. Josh Jacobs for Saquon Barkley should be a lot of fun. But give me my gut in the upset here. Commanders at Bucs. I like the Bucs in this one. High-scoring game, 31-23. Now, the Bucs' weakness is pass defense, which they cleaned it up a little bit down the stretch. It kind of reminds me of last year. It was god-awful, and then they cleaned it up a little bit, and they were pretty good going to the playoffs. It was same thing. They were god-awful for a bit, letting Kirk Cousins throw 500 yards on them, and there was more games like that. And they cleaned it up a little bit. I still worry about it, and they're a little beat up at the safety position. We'll see if Winfield's back, star safety. So the Commanders could throw on them a bit, and that would be the reason that the Commanders could win this game. But I love the way the Bucs match up at home. I know Dan Quinn's a good defensive coach. They got good defensive players. Latimer's going to be out there. Good matchup for Mike Evans. They're going again. He's good for going up against Mike Evans. But it's a predictable man coverage defense. The Baker-led Bucs offense is super explosive. The Commanders are struggling to stop the run in the playoffs. Just based on all of NFL history, playoff history, if you can't stop the run, it is very, very difficult to win these these games in the playoffs. Very difficult. And Bucky Irving's on fire. That's another flaw for the Bucs. Sometimes they don't just stick with the run game, even though it's working. They insist on pass, pass, pass. So they gotta. I think they can win either way with either, but they gotta make sure they run the football. And the Bucs stop the run at a very, very high level. And it feels like the Commanders, they can throw the ball for sure, but it feels like they need that run game to be a part of it. Now, stopping a scrambling quarterback is a different part of stopping the run. It's a little different, so that could be a factor as well. But Bucs at home, explosive offense, stop the run. Predictable defense they're going against. They're young, inexperienced. I like the way the Bucs match up in this one. I really do. So I'm going to go 31-23, and I have them covering that 3. A lot of people are saying the Commanders could be sneaky in this one. They definitely could, so that could blow up in my face as well. But I'm feeling the Bucs in this one. -3, 31-23. Vikings and Rams, maybe the best game of the week. It's on Monday Night Football. The Vikings are favored by 1. It started at 2.5, and it's trickling down a little bit. It's a 50-50 game. I'm going to go 1-point squeaker, 24-23 Vikings. I originally had a shootout, way more of a shootout, because at first I'm like, all right, the Vikings, especially looking at last week, they're more of a defensive team. Actually, the offense is, Darnold and the offense line a little sus right now. And the Rams, they've been winning with defense last few weeks. So that's first glance, but I'm like, let's not kid ourselves here. The Rams are saving stuff on offense. They're more of an offensive team in the playoffs with McVay, Stafford, Kupp, Puka and Kupp, Kyron Williams. This is more of an offensive team. And the Vikings, they have so many playmakers, so many weapons. They can score points, so it's got to be offense, right? And I keep thinking about it. The Vikings struggled on offense last week, but it was against man coverage and a team that blitzes a lot. The Rams are kind of the opposite of that, is my next thought. Pure zone, don't blitz nearly as much as the Lions. I mean, over the last several years, I don't know if anyone's run more zone than the Rams, right? So the Vikings got to have offense, and the Rams, I mean, there's really only one quarterback in offense that picked apart the Vikings defense this year. It was the Rams. It was Matt Stafford. So they got to score points. So I'm thinking shootout. It's got to be a shootout. But thinking about it a little bit more, the Lions put a lot of good things on tape for other teams. The Rams are still going to run zone, but they actually might blitz. I'm thinking they're going to blitz more than everyone expects and more than the Vikings expect. So that can actually throw them off a little bit. And again, the Rams offense kind of got a little cold, and the Vikings defense is playing much better than they did the last time around. So I think we'll see stretches of offense and stretches of defense in this game. Both teams using their running backs a little bit, running the clock. I'm going to go 24-23. I'm just going to trust the Vikings. The Vikings are the better team right now and were this year. They're very balanced across the board. They can win in different ways. So I'm going to trust them a little bit more. The star Justin Jefferson and Jordan Addison, these star playmakers, even though the Rams have them too, they get the job done in this one. And I wouldn't bet on it, though. The Vikings kind of piss down their legs in games like this. So it's going to be 50-50. I'm very curious if it's more of an offense or defensive game here. But the Vikings, sigh of relief, I guess, that they don't have to go against pure man coverage because apparently they struggle with that. I don't have a bet for the game, money line spread, anything like that. So I threw it. I'm going to have more props and touchdowns on Twitter, and we'll do our locks video. But I gave you guys one of those right now. Aaron Jones has been catching the ball a lot. If the Rams start blitzing, Darnold's going to get it out quick. He had some good receiving yards against the Rams last time off only 2 catches. I think they're going to try. I think he hits the over on the receptions and receiving yards here. 18.5 seems very, very low, so we're going to go with that on this one. But I wouldn't touch in terms of the game. I wouldn't touch it. It's going to be a fun one. And that will wrap it up for this one. We'll be back every single week. We have several videos covering the playoffs already up and more to come. We have off-season videos like mock drafts, free agency videos blowing up, more of those types of videos, coaching videos, a lot more covering trades, free agency, the draft, the coaching carousel coming up. So join us, like, subscribe to notifications on. You will not regret it. Make sure to follow us on Twitter for extra content, latest news, rumors, and thoughts. But that'll do it. Thanks for watching. Goodbye.